What's up, guys? Skip Africanus here, and welcome back to actually a rather special Cartridge of the Week episode, as this week we're actually going over a cartridge that I myself made. This thing right here. It's a 7.62x25 Tokarev casing loaded with a 123 grain bullet pulled from a 7.62x39 cartridge. Now, I will say a little bit of a caveat. I guess I wasn't the first person to come about the idea to do this, evidently, as evidenced by the existence of the 7.63 Mini Whisper. However, we'll save going over that specific cartridge for a future video and instead go into how I came about making this round and, of course, how it performed when I actually tested it. Before all that, however, we'll first do what we always do and take a look at the head stamp, which on the top reads PPU for the manufacturer of the case mainly, as mentioned. I made this cartridge. And then on the bottom we have 7.62 TT for the caliber, 7.62x25 Tokarev. Now the big question in regards to this cartridge that I'm sure many of you have is why exactly did you make this? And I feel this is best explained by my own personal life mentor.
It's not about whether we should do it or not. It's about whether we can do it or not.
Yeah, it really was a matter of me just being curious what would happen. Call me crazy, call me stupid, but Elmer Keith wouldn't have made the famous 44 Magnum if he didn't engage in similar activities. Now, the way I went about creating the cartridge was by going off of already existing 110 grain load data, as the bullet being used, the 123 grainer, was close enough, only being 13 grains heavier, and with that data, I would end up just using the max load for it. Now, as proceeding, I figured I could never get this thing to feed in the original CZ52 magazines, so I wouldn't bother trying to risk overpressures by seating it super low, and, set it at around the original seating depth as what a normal Tokarev bullet would be sitting at. Now, I should add that obviously this cartridge is very long. We have a regular 85 grain Tokarev. You can see it's very long. And not only do you, of course, have to, single load it, but once it's in the gun, you have to either shoot it or take the gun apart in order to remove it, as a live round will not eject, given, again, the excessive length. Now, I, of course, did not seat it before sizing it down, as 7.62x39 uses a .312 diameter bullet, and the bore of a CZ52 is spec'd for the .309 7.62x25 ones, obviously. So I ran the bullet through a .309 sizing die to maintain the proper diameter. Now, as per testing, this is where things actually get interesting, which I should mention that this was all actually recorded in an older video from 3 years ago that I will be linking down in the description below if you want to see how the whole endeavor went. Honestly, I'd recommend not watching it, as it's horribly put together, and we'll not only be going into the results here, but I'm actually planning on revisiting this cartridge for another testing video for reasons I'll explain in a minute. But if you really want to see, how it went, again, the video is down there in the description. Do note that I am not responsible for the tumor that you will get while watching it, just an FYI. Anyways, given this was an untested round, I fired off the first shot through a vise, and after determining that both A, my pistol was still intact, and B, checking for any signs of overpressure with the casing, I then moved on to testing the FPS as well as the accuracy. For the FPS, we arrived at an average of 1,315 feet per second with 2 of the shots. Now, there was a third shot which clocked in at 1,513 feet per second. However, that was also the shot that hit my chronograph, so I don't think that's the most accurate of measurements. Now, that being said, with the 1,315 feet per second, I will say that is not too bad of a velocity for this heavier round. Now, as per accuracy, this is the part where I mentioned we'll be revisiting this cartridge, because the video is kind of poor in showing the bullet impacts and such, and, I feel like, as for the accuracy, from what I remember and kind of revisiting the video, it was actually surprisingly good, actually outperforming the standard Bulgarian ammo I brought, but it could be done a little bit more professionally, and I think it was just a bad day shooting that normal ammo. So, as mentioned, stay tuned, because we will be revisiting this round for accuracy. Just know for the time being that it was actually surprisingly accurate and doing kind of alright when we shot it. But anyways, I think that's going to do it for this week's Cartridge of the Week episode featuring the AK bullet in a Tokarev case. Hope you all enjoyed the video as much as I personally enjoyed making it, and I will see y'all next time.